everyone, it's Stacey Jackson and I'm doing another Instagram live today. I'm so excited about who I'm going to be introducing in a second. It is the dynamic duo of the Shamanics, and I've had the pleasure of working with them and actually the honor, because these guys have ridiculous cred between the two of them. I mean, Craig has a slew of remixes and productions under his belt, and he's worked with Clarkson and Beyonce, and I can't even, the list is endless. He's actually the musical director. He was for David Cassidy. And of course, Ralphi Rosario, who I have to read this because his list is as long as my arm. I mean, he's worked with the likes of the Pet Shop Boys, Madonna, Kylie, Ricky Martin, also Kelly Clarkson, Rihanna, and he's been nominated for a Grammy Award. So honestly, this dynamic duo, I am absolutely so excited to introduce. So I now have to invite them to, here we go, to go live with, here's Ralph. And let me see if I can connect Craig. Hold on, where's Craig? I don't see him here. I got to invite Craig. Where is Craig? Craig. I see Craig. He's joined, but I'd like to help. Okay. Hi everyone. Okay, everybody's joining, and I think I invited someone. I invited Ralphie, but I don't see him. So what am I supposed to be doing here? Hopefully this is me being crazily technical, or not. Hold on, there's Ralphie. Okay, and there's Craig. Here we go. Please join. I hope this works.
Okay.
Yes!
Okay. You got me now.
I got ya. Oh my God. I was just freaking out. I said, y'all, I get so nervous for these things because I am not technical. I mean, okay, I have to say I am super honored to have be chatting with you right now, but have been able to work with you guys, because honestly, I was reading your bios and going, how am I going to do this in 15, 20 minutes? This is crazy. So I had the pleasure of actually, not just meeting Craig, but having dinner with him in LA. It was great. You're amazing. And obviously this is the first time that I'm meeting Ralphie, and I've only heard incredible things about you from so many people in the industry. And I mean, you actually you spearheaded house music in Chicago. I mean, you brought house. You literally brought the house down.
I just helped it along. So, you know.
You helped it along. I mean, because my dance music career really took off in Europe, and then sort of came over to the States because obviously, as you know, it wasn't as prevalent. And you're back in the 80s and
right.
in the 90s. So
right.
you really had an influence on the market there. And so I'm gonna come back to Craig in a second, because I know Craig, so I want to get to know a little bit of Ralphie a bit.
Sure.
So tell me first, what does that mean by bringing house music, to the States or to Chicago? I mean, you were a DJ, obviously, and part of a group. So just give us a little bit of history.
It started with the radio show and the Hot Mix 5 back in as far as 1981. And the Hot Mix 5 was a really big part of bringing that music to the airwaves and introducing it to the masses in Chicago. Which I was just actually being interviewed for something yesterday, and I was actually touching on this. It was something that was not forecasted. It wasn't anything that was sought after. It was just something that just naturally, organically happened. Playing mixes on the radio graduated into something larger than we've ever would have imagined. It was crazy.
Fantastic. I mean, because I performed in Chicago a couple of times. The vibe is beyond.
Yeah.
I really believe that is a hot market for electronic music, and
it's
honestly,
the epicenter of where everything started, and the soul is still here.
You feel it.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And Craig, so when we first met, I have to say, because you were the musical director for David Cassidy at some point, and I literally fell off my chair because growing up, I mean, who did not love him, right? So tell me what it was like working alongside David Cassidy. I mean, I'm obsessed completely.
He was a wonderful person. He had an incredible heart. I met him because I produced the last full album he did, which was a series of remixes of his classic hits. And initially he was very dubious. And then we went upstairs at the studio that we had met at, and we jammed for half an hour. And then that was it. He's like, oh, you're not just some button pusher. You can actually play. This is amazing. I love this. We're going to have fun. So I followed him around the country with a microphone and a laptop. I'd knock on his door. I go, David, are you awake, to record his vocals, because he would perform the night before and we didn't have time to go to studio. So literally I followed him around from hotel to hotel, recorded his vocals. He thought it was so brilliant. He loved what we did so much that he flew me over. We talked about this, debuted at the Apollo, and then we did Oprah here, and then we were off and running for many, many years. And he was just a love and supportive and encouraged me. And I miss him dearly. We got to be incredibly great friends. And
I can imagine. I can imagine.
just sad to
Especially
not
when you're
have
on the
him around
road
anymore.
and touring and you get so close to someone.
Yep.
So how did the two of you get together? I mean, you know, first of all, Ralphie, I mean, you were nominated for a Grammy, and everybody, you both have such unbelievable, like, cred, okay? And then did you guys know each other, like, as friends first, or did you meet through the industry, or?
We were friends in passing through Mark Picchiotti, and Craig did a lot of work for Mark, and I loved a lot of Mark's work, and so Craig was one of the guys that was giving that flavor to what was going on with Mark Picchiotti. And one day Mark said, hey, do you need, you know, an additional programmer in any of your music, any stuff you're working on? And I said, sure. So he introduced me to Craig, and we were inseparable ever since.
Well, I could tell, because you guys obviously connect very well. I mean,
Yeah.
what was it like? I mean, okay, your recent is Stacey Jackson, Live It Up, Rebooted.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Which we loved.
Yeah, it was great.
I was going to say, so what gave you the, like, your reference point? I mean, in terms of, like, when you did the remix for it, because I want to, like, some of the people who are following me don't even know what it means to be, like, remixed, you know, like, they don't understand the remix process and how that can help an artist amortize their record into different markets, depending on the remix and depending on the remaster or whatever. So I could go on and explain it from, you know, from my perspective, but you guys are obviously, this is what you do, and you guys are the, you know, foremost in remixing and music, because some artists are not that amenable to it. Like you even said, David Cassidy, Craig, was like remixing my record, you know, like some artists are like, no, don't touch, this is my work, this is my art. So how do you do it? Like, how do you go about it without impinging on the integrity of the
Well, that's
art?
it right there, Stacey. Integrity. That's where we lie, and that's what we start with, is integrity. Integrity for the song that's in front of us as we're working on it. Integrity for the artist, and just making sure that, I think all the way around, the respect is there as we're working on it. We're not trying to massacre a piece of work that was already done. All we're trying to do is make it better, or take it to the next level, or introduce it to the masses that I play for, introduce it for the masses that are out there that enjoy dance music, all that stuff. So, I mean, that's where it starts with me, is integrity. With every major artist that Craig and I have worked on, it's always been about integrity to start with, because we we don't want to piss anybody off in the middle of it.
Fair enough. You're so rooted in the industry. The last thing you want to be is blacklisted. Yeah. No, we're not going to work with Shamanics anymore.
No, and thank God that we've graduated into so many things and so many people we've worked on, that it's just been a lot of love, and I appreciate it.
There's a history in all of music for remixing, if you think about it, because I come, you know, Ralph is a brilliant DJ and performer in that world. I come from the world of performance, 20 years of music school and performing in classical, jazz, and all the rest of it. And think about, you know, someone like a Cab Calloway in the 20s up in Harlem, you know, doing an arrangement of a song that Cole Porter wrote, okay? Right. Guess what, kids? That's a remix, okay? Or, you know, anybody who's written a great song of any era and someone covers it, it's the same concept. You're bringing a different flavor, you're giving a different perspective, you're bringing a different approach. As Ralphie said, we're giving it life in a different area and remixing. The beautiful of it is it's not really that word is deceptive. It really is rearranging. It's an arrangement. It's an interpretation. It's a refresh.
It's an art form in itself.
That's exactly why it landed up
Unbelievably.
as a category in the Grammys, because it is an art form within itself.
Yeah, I agree.
And again, it is something that there's been precedent for. Quincy Jones is one of the greatest arrangers of all time. He's a remixer. Nelson Riddle did all of Frank Sinatra stuff back in the day. He was a brilliant remixer. It's the same thing.
It's being reimagined. All this stuff being reimagined.
Yep. You build it around the melody and the lyric, which are king. The song is king. So you leave the melody, you leave the lyric alone, and then we go, what are the possibilities? And then we rework it from that framework. How's that?
I completely agree with you, because I mean there are some variations of electronic music that will be that will butcher the song in a way that they'll take the underlying melody and they'll put some other chords in there that just don't go at all. But then as the artist, you're like, you have to accept it, that this might work somewhere.
Or providing that it's all working in the right key.
Yeah, Ralphie could speak to that. I drive him fucking crazy, because I'll be like, nope, that's out of tune. We got to fix that. Or
no, exactly. And the thing is that
you can't have a chord progression that's a half step away
from
the
he's
original
got me
key
to
of
the
the
point
melody.
right now where when I hear a really bad vocal, it makes me absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
I hope I wasn't on that list.
No. It's happened. It's happened in numerous occasions with even some major artists and stuff. There's been a note or here and there, and he's been great, about making it, the best and really getting it across the right way.
Right. Well, I mean, your stuff's amazing. I work out to your remix. I absolutely love it, and I was so honored that you guys wanted to do this. I'm wondering, like, maybe we can get a little bit into the technical side as well of it. Just, when I say my song is remixed, how does it, what do you do actually? I mean, so from my perspective, my management or someone will obviously send you the stems, right? Mm-hmm. You've got the vocal stems, and then you've got, I'm trying, just for layman terms, people who are watching now, trying to understand how the process works so that you could build your own creation around what.
Well, we're, and I'll do the first half. We're taking a lot of the original elements in the song. And for me, I like to sift through it and find out what I'd like to keep, even with riffs or with identifiable things that make the song work, whether it's a keyboard line that's already in there, or there's a weird sound or a drum or something. Is to start off with wanting to find what we want to keep, and then from there I'll add my own creation of drum work and everything else like that.
Is that usually the hook that you're looking to keep, or is there something?
Yeah, usually, the hook of the music is probably where it's at. A riff or a hook of the music that really is one of the leading things about the song that I think that works, and then Craig and I capitalize on that. And then Craig comes in and he will work on keys. We'll start to do chords or start keys together. What works, what doesn't work, we'll just play it over and over again until we find something that actually sticks. Because if it doesn't stick and I'm not singing the chorus by the time I leave the studio, it's not working.
Right. Exactly. I mean, I guess that's for every song, but you're absolutely right. But also what's nice about you guys in particular is that you'll come up with extra other hooks in the song.
Oh, yeah.
That you walk out singing or having in your brain, which is lovely.
And sometimes it's literally, it can be just one or two things that we tweak that just brings it to a whole other place. Like, for example, not to get too musically technical, but if something is, say, for example, in a major key, we can put it in a, if we want to make it a little darker or a little edgier or make it a little tougher, I'll put it in what's called the relative minor, which is a third below, but it shares all the same notes.
Right.
And so you have minor chords against a major melody, but there's no dissonance because it's all the same note family. Right. And just that one little moment where I, will sit there with Ralph and we'll play with different chord progressions going from minor to major or major to minor allows us to bring tension and release in different parts of the song than maybe it was originally composed, because that's the composer part of my brain. And what's great is where I really feel like we have a strong competitive advantage in what we do is, you know, Ralphie and I come from very disparate places, and then we come together and bring, like, his A&R ear is phenomenal and he's got a great ear, but it's coming from years and years of playing records and doing the things that he's done. I come from the background that I do, and when we come together, we do something that we would never do by ourselves. Like, his perspective is so different from mine. I'm like, I would never fucking think of that. And then likewise, I'll sit at the keyboard because I'm a very, like, I hear music in my head all the time, and I'll listen to the melody and I'm already rewriting it in my head, and he's working on the drums, and then the drums hit and I'm like, oh my God, this is so inspirational. And then I go to the keyboard and I go, this is what I'm hearing. Here are the 3 different approaches, boom, boom, boom. And then we just, it's like our flow, it's like, as a friend of mine would say,
just listening to this. Can I be a part? Can I come and collaborate with you guys?
The next one. But our flow, to me, it's butter. It's just butter. It's
I love
just,
that.
We are butter. We get together, and girl, we were so excited, and I'm not blowing smoke up your booty. This was, I loved that song. I said to Ralphie, this is so fun. Your song so inspired us. The way you sang it, the message of it. I love hip hop is a big part of my boys are huge hip hop fans, and I've met Snoop a couple times. And so I'd like to have that synergy between you and dance music and rap, and that Ralph and I could get together and figure out how to thread that needle, because it's tough. You know, it's a tough thing to get it to work. And so to his point, when it came together and we were like, fuck yeah, this is working. This is bumping. And we were able to give you some different approaches. That's like a win. That's just like, there was no struggle with your song at all, ever.
No, it's always a pleasure when things like that come together.
And I didn't touch any of your your vocals pitch-wise, baby.
Good.
How's that?
It sounded great. Honestly, I love it. I love the version so much. And I mean, you guys also write for other things. You don't just do remixing. I mean, I know that Craig has been writing for television series and like Sex and the City you've done, and The Voice. And have you done you've also written for like To Brief as well, Ralphie, or do you just do music productions?
No, I kind of moved into the HBO series or Sex and the City because the music director was looking after or was seeking some of the stuff that I did. And the introduction of one of the earlier dance tracks in 2000 led him to say to me, okay, listen, so I really love what you did here, but what else have you got? And so I started sending him a bunch of stuff, and he loved the fact that I was responsive and listening to what he wanted. And then I got Craig involved in it. And then once we got into it, we did a lot of stuff for him. And that was great because
you did this as your duo together.
Right. It happened organically. And we just decided, that this was a lot of fun. This is what we love to do. Production is one of the strongest cards when we always get together, like we said earlier. And working on Sex and the City was an absolute joy. So, and Craig comes from that background of doing movies and commercials and things like that. And I love that aspect of it because it's a new territory for me.
Right. Well,
the Shamanic will score a film. We will do a TV series.
Yeah, we've got a lot of stuff on the album.
Hold that thought there, boys, because I've got a bunch of things on the table, as you know,
Good.
Craig. So
yes, I do. We would have so much fun together, girl. So much fun. So much fun.
Even all the stuff that you just
We
saying.
are fun.
Anyways, I'm gonna have to wrap this up. I'm actually going tonight to see a James Bond discussion with Barbara Broccoli, apparently. Or is it Broccoli? Sorry?
I'm so jealous. I've always wanted to meet her.
Yeah,
I'm a huge Bond fan.
I know. I'm super excited. So I actually have to get myself all glammed up and go and do my thing. But anyway, I am so excited that we got this time to chat and to meet you, Craig. Obviously, I've met you before, and I'm gonna either go to Chicago or LA, and we have to get us all in one room. We
Yes,
have
we
to
do.
be in a room.
Absolutely.
We have to be in a room and write. Anyway, it's been an honor and a pleasure, and this is going to live on my feed. So I'll send you the link if you want to share
Great.
it.
Yeah,
And
we
I
will.
love you. Thank you so much for being
Love you
here
too.
today, and also for the amazing remixes on Live It Up Rebooted. I really appreciate it. You guys are incredible. Now, if I remember correctly, I think I just have to press the X. I'll speak to you later. Love you so much.
Ciao,
Love you
ciao.
too.
Great to
Ciao,
talk.
Bella.
Bye.
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 Okay, so press the X.
Press the X.
I did press the X.
But I'm still here.
I know. And now.